Remember that song Aston Martin music, with Drake and Rick Ross? Well, the singer from the song with the sultry voice, Miss Chrisette Michele, who before what I'm going to read to you today that she said, and before I do what I got to do here, basically, I had no issue with this lady. I don't really know much about her. I know that she's an R&B singer, and pretty much what I know her for is for the Aston Martin music song. I'm not really too familiar with her music and whatnot, but man, oh Lord, what she said really, really, really disturbed me. So I got to read it to you guys. And for the record, since now black people want to boycott white stores as a way of fighting back against the injustices that black people are still facing in America in 2016, here's what Chrisette Michele had to say about it. I'm going to get into her mentality and talk about her after I read to you this sheer clear bullshit. So on July 12th of 2016, Chrisette Michele said, "Respectfully, I don't believe that a boycott is the answer. It was the answer 60 years ago. I don't believe that marches are the answer." Now, I do agree with the marching crap. They were the answer 60 years ago. Actually, that was never the answer. Not when you have clothing label owners like Nicki Minaj leading the way at chains like Kmart. Not when you've got hair product owners like Courtney Adele leading the way at stores like Sally's. Not when you have record label owners like myself and Janelle Monáe selling music at stores like Target. Black men like Rick Ross. Why are you separating things and keeping black men separate? So I guess there's a separate group of people to her. Pay attention to the language. Black men like Rick Ross owning Wingstops. Black men like Kasim Reed as mayor of Atlanta. Not when we finally have a black president. First of all, he's mixed. He's not black. His mother's white. This is what they fought for 60 years ago. Now is not the time to destroy it. Now is the time to achieve. Now is the time to send black boys to college. Send black boys to college. In other words, black girls are already going to college. Pay attention to the language. Now is the time to send black boys to college. Now is the time to get good grades and become lawyers that our uncles couldn't. Once again, talking about black men. Become the mayor that our fathers couldn't. Own the stores that we couldn't walk into. It's the time to be the greatest and most civilized we have ever been. Really. So when were we not as civilized as what you're suggesting we become now? Now is the time to attend city hall meetings. Now is the time to vote and change laws. Now is the time to write letters to the politicians and government. If you want to see change, speak with educated voices that we couldn't afford before. We couldn't even attend their schools. Now we receive scholarships to them. We couldn't play their sports. Now we are the first ones drafted. We couldn't walk into their venues. Now we are selling them out. Action is voting. Action is education. Action is the well-spoken. It is not chaos. It is not killing. It is not anger. Action is greatness. Arise and be the greatest. This is how we must speak. Respectfully, Chrisette Michele, a law-abiding citizen with the power to vote. She also goes on to say, "I'm no hashtag political genius." You know what? You're right. You're not a political genius, Chrisette Michele. This is the reason why they say that singers and other musicians should just shut the hell up and make music. This is exactly why. You got to pay attention to the fact that, first of all, when she started talking about, black people being business owners and different achievements that people have made, she started naming black women first, letting you know that she basically holds black women in a higher esteem than black men. She thinks that black women are obviously more important. That's why she named them first. Then she named some of black men's achievements. And the crazy thing about it is, one of the people's names that she mentioned was Barack Obama, talking about how we finally have a black president. First of all, he's not black. He's mixed. If his family comes to the White House, both sides of his family, half of those people are going to be white. So he can't be black if his family's white. He's both. And it's degrading to the white side of his family to call him black, because that means that they are not his family. You're disowning them for him. So let's please be careful about the language that we use. Next up is the fact that she's talking about sending black boys to college and talking about getting good grades and becoming lawyers that the uncles could not become, and mayors that the fathers could not become. So what is she trying to say here? Basically, this is what she's saying. This is a form of cooning right here. What she's essentially saying is, yeah, you black men may be getting killed, but it's not black women that are being killed. So obviously it's because you're not going to college. That's why you're being shot down in the streets. It's not because these people are racist or anything like that. It's the whole, what about black on black crime narrative? That's what she's essentially saying. You black boys need to go to college and get good grades, and the police will stop killing you. That's essentially what she's saying. This will go over a lot of people's heads, because the way she's saying it is so incredibly sneaky. She's saying it in such a way that if you don't really pay attention, if you don't really know what's going on, to you it's going to sound like she's just saying positive things like, well, what's wrong with her promoting going to college and getting good grades? You'd have to be a fool to be against that. When in reality, what she's really saying is, you're responsible for your own deaths, or at least that's the way I'm interpreting it. Correct me if I'm wrong here. The funny thing about it is this. We could sit up here and say, that boycotting is not the right answer. Just go to school and vote. But people did that for many years, and you know where we ended up, right? We ended up where we are now. And it's funny for her to say that boycotting, basically not giving your oppressor your money, was the answer 60 years ago. She's trying to say that it's basically an outdated idea to take your money elsewhere and to give it to black-owned businesses where products and services come from black people, created by black people, from top to bottom. Things that black people make themselves. Because she needs Target to do what she has to do. She most likely got her record label from white people. She's basically bought and paid for. I don't know anything about whether or not she's married or who she's dated or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if she's with a white or Asian, some sort of non-black man, or she would be. And that's part of what this is about. It sounds to me, just from the little bit that I heard, that she has major issues with black men. A lot of black women in America right now do have major issues with black men, basically, because as these men are being killed, shot down in the streets, we have black women bragging about how they protect black men. Well, you didn't protect that corpse over there. You got black women like, you black men need to give us credit because we're out here marching and protesting for you. No, last I checked, there was people marching and protesting because they were scared to lose their lives, not black women marching and protesting for black men. It was people protesting for people. There's been a lot of white people who were protesting for the people who were basically losing their lives thanks to police brutality. They weren't just marching for black men. They were marching for Sandra Bland. They were marching for Dylan Noble. He's white. Sandra Bland is a black woman. They're not just marching for black men, but that's part of the fictional narrative that people want you to believe. But just numerous people. And it's really crazy because marching really isn't helping anything. So I'm glad that she said that part. However, as far as boycotting is concerned, man, I talked about boycotting in my video. Actually, it was a video about Cardi B from Love and Hip Hop. If you just type this in on YouTube, you should find the video. Cardi B is unsure of how to fight back against injustice in the right way. Rather, the right way. If you just type in Meat Magazine, Cardi B is unsure of how to fight against injustice, the video should pop up with no problem. In that video, I broke down what black people need to do to save themselves. And one of the things that I mentioned was boycotting. I'm very much so pro boycotting. The reason why is because marching and protesting didn't do shit. Well, maybe I should not word things like that, because it definitely did something. I mean, I'm pretty sure your face is in some sort of database. It got scanned probably at a rally or something like that. They probably took your image, with some facial recognition scanning or something like that. So getting your face put into a database, if that's what you were trying to accomplish, or if you just wanted to get a good workout from all of that walking, you probably accomplished doing those two things. But as far as really making some sort of real true change, man, just if you really want true change, you got to hit them in the pockets. You got to let them know, like, you're not going to get my dollar. And you also got to stop having sex with and expressing your sexuality with these people, because it's all in the DNA and in the wallet. It comes down to your money and your sexuality. If you're selling yourself to these people who are destroying you, you're willing to have sex with them, kiss them, lay in the bed with them, give them your money, give them your children by putting them in their school system. You're willing to go to their churches and other religious buildings, worship their gods that look like somebody who doesn't look like you. I mean, why would they stop killing you? There's no point in to stop killing you. There's no point in to stop oppressing you, because you gave them your mind. You went to their school, gave them your body, you had sex with them, gave them your soul by following their religion and worshiping a god that looks like them. Since you're worshiping an image in their likeness, they feel as if they're being worshipped, and they should, because you're worshiping basically their image, a white image. You wonder why you're having the problems that you're having, and you're giving them your money. So your mind by going to the school systems, your body by having sex and expressing sexuality with them, your soul by following their religions and worshiping a being that looks like them, and then you give them all of your money. I mean, can you blame them? I mean, you're a complete fool. I'm trying to tell you, man, the only way to get out of the oppression that you're facing, and one of the biggest problems with it is that there's a lot of Negro bed wenches that will find any excuse that they can to basically keep the system going, because they want to worship white Jesus, and they think that the white man is powerful and intelligent, and they think as a black woman that they're powerful and intelligent, and they think that the male equivalent to the black woman is a white man, and they'll do anything that they can to keep things the way that they are, including selling out black men and selling out the black race. And they'll even pretend to be pro-black when they're really just pro-black female. And if you're pro-black female, you're not pro-black, you're just pro-black female. You can't be pro-black and hate half of your own race. That doesn't make any damn sense. People who are pro-white are like, you know what, white power. If you live in a trailer park, or you're homeless, or whatever, you're part of this white power thing because you're white. Therefore, you're smarter, better, faster, and stronger than those other people. But these black women who are saying things like this, and I'm not accusing Chrisette Michele of anything for legal reasons. The only thing I'm saying is this: when you see this type of coonery and buffoonery, what they're essentially saying is that black men are inferior, and they agree with the way that things are. They're not worth boycotting for. That's really what you should get from something like this. At least that's just what I get from it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she's saying the exact opposite. Maybe I'm just tripping here. Jay-Z's lips. Anyways, let me know what you think about it all below. Be sure to subscribe to the Meat Magazine YouTube channels. Visit meatmagazine.blogspot.com for more. Follow me on Twitter at Meat Magazine. Do you agree with her? Do you disagree with her? I say boycotting all things white, their religions, their businesses, quasi-educational institutions, and interracial relationships. Boycotting it all. A complete blackout would fix things, but it has to be a forever thing. Meat Magazine.